All India Radio presents Morning News. Good morning. I'm Anuja Kumar and with me is Subhadra Ramachandran. The headlines. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to address a webinar on roadmap for effective implementation of Union Budget 2021-22 in the infrastructure sector today. Government makes FASTag mandatory on all national highways. Gujarat government extends night curfew in 4 cities of Ahmedabad, Surat, Vadhra and Rajkot till the end of this month. All degree colleges across Kashmir division reopen after 11 months. Huge attendance recorded. Basant Panchami and Saraswati Puja being celebrated in different parts of the country today. And in cricket, England need 429 more runs to win the second test against India with only 7 wickets in hand. As the nation fights the COVID-19 pandemic, we begin with a message of precaution to stay safe and protected by following these 3 simple steps. Wear a face mask, maintain 2 gaz ki doori for social distancing, focus on hand and face hygiene. And now the news in detail. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will address a webinar today on roadmap for effective implementation of Union Budget 2021-22 in the infrastructure sector. The webinar will witness a participation of more than 200 panelists, including representatives of major financial institutions and funds, concessionaires and contractors, consultants and subject matter experts. The panelists will share their ideas on improving pace and quality of infrastructure development with a focus on advanced technology and attracting more investments in the sector. This will be followed by 2 parallel breakout sessions involving discussions between senior officials of groups of ministries and cross-sectional experts to compile a list of implementable projects to fast-track implementation of the budget vision and draft an implementation roadmap. Ongoing consultations have also been planned with stakeholders on implementation of the finalized strategy. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will lay the foundation stone of Maharaja Suheldev Memorial and development work of Chittora Lake in Bahraich district of Uttar Pradesh at 11 a.m. today through video conferencing. The event marks the birth anniversary of Maharaja Suheldev. UP Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath will be present on the occasion. The complete project will include installation of an equestrian statue of Maharaja Suheldev and development of various tourist amenities like cafeteria, guest house and a children's park. Maharaja Suheldev's devotion and service to the country is a source of inspiration for all, and with the development of this memorial site, the country will be able to get better acquainted with the heroic saga of Maharaja Suheldev. It would also further enhance the tourist potential of this site. More from our correspondent.
The state government has decided to organize Maharaja Suheldev Jayanti Samaroh across the state on the occasion of Basant Panchami today. Principal Secretary Culture and Tourism Mukesh Kumar Meshram told that all divisional commissioners and district magistrates have been instructed that Jayanti Samaroh be organized on the Shaheed Smarak and places of martyrs of freedom movement. Functions will be organized in the presence of public representatives, NSS, NCC, civil defense volunteers, scout and guide, and eminent persons. In the evening, lighting will be done on Shaheed memorials along with playing of Rashtadhun by police band. The Education Department has organized exhibition of books based on life story of freedom fighters and Maharaja Suheldev at various Shaheed Smarak. Cultural and literary events commemorating Maharaja Suheldev will also be organized on this occasion at universities, degree colleges and other educational institutions. MS Yadav, AIR News, Lucknow.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi will dedicate to the nation and lay the foundation of key projects of the oil and gas sector in Tamil Nadu tomorrow via video conferencing. He will dedicate to the nation the Ramanathapuram Thoothukudi natural gas pipeline and gasoline desulfurization unit at Chennai Petroleum Corporation Limited, Manali. He will also lay the foundation stone of Kaveri Basin Refinery at Nagapattinam. These projects will result in substantial socio-economic benefits and will boost the country's march towards Urja Atmanirbharta. Tamil Nadu Governor Banwarilal Purohit and Chief Minister Edappadi K. Palaniswamy and Union Minister for Petroleum and Natural Gas Dharmendra Pradhan will also be present on the occasion. Government has made FASTag mandatory on the national highways. All lanes in the fee plazas on national highways were declared as FASTag lane midnight last night. As per NH Fee Rules 2008, any vehicle not fitted with FASTag or vehicle without valid functional FASTag entering into the FASTag lane of the fee plaza will have to pay a fee equivalent to 2 times of the fee applicable to that category. Speaking to AIR News, Secretary, Ministry of Road Transport and Highways, Giridhar Armani said, FASTags will prove to be beneficial both to the passengers as well as to the toll management authorities.
FASTag will ensure that non-stop movement will happen at all toll plazas and there will be cashless payment. There will be very limited traffic congestion. In fact, traffic congestion will be totally eliminated. The commute time will go down. The consumers will get the toll statements, the money they have paid at all the toll stations in an electronic fashion whenever they require. And there will be lower operating costs for the toll operators, which will again transform into less cost for government and to the public.
More from our correspondent.
FASTag technology will change the way the country moves on its highways. Not only will it increase speed by significant reduction in wait time at the toll plazas, but will also facilitate swift payment mechanism. The technology will help save significant amount of revenue loss to the toll management authorities by introducing a digital tab into the movement of vehicles at toll gates. This will also help in alleviating chances of human error and will ensure seamless movement to both passenger and freight vehicles. The Road Transport Ministry has also said that it will help the commuters save money by reducing the fuel consumption wasted at these toll plazas. It said this will also reduce significant amount of emission of air polluting gases from these vehicles during the wait time. A helpline number 1033 for grievance redressal of consumers has been put in place. Toll-free customer care number of issuer banks have also been put in place. Anand Chaturvedi, AIR News, Delhi.
The Union Health Ministry has said that the number of beneficiaries who have been vaccinated against COVID-19 has gone up to 85,16,385 since the launch of the countrywide COVID-19 vaccination program on the 16th of January. Addressing media in New Delhi, Joint Secretary in the Health Ministry, Dr. Mandeep Bhandari, said that out of these, 61,54,894 are healthcare workers and 23,61,491 are frontline workers. He said so far, 97,732 healthcare workers have been given second dose of vaccine. Dr. Bhandari also informed that till last evening, 231,476 beneficiaries were vaccinated through the vaccination sessions organized in all states and union territories. He said no case of serious or severe adverse event following immunization, AEFI, is attributable to vaccination till date. Meanwhile, the country's COVID-19 recovery rate reached 97.29%, with the total recovery of more than 9,000 patients in the last 24 hours. The government will start administering COVID-19 vaccine to the third prioritized group of people above 50 years of age from next month. Interacting with media persons regarding budgetary provision for the Union Health Ministry for 2021-22, Health Minister Dr. Harshvardhan said there are 26 crore people in this category. The Health Minister also ruled out any death related to COVID-19 vaccination in the country. He mentioned that in the budget 2021-22, the government has allocated 35,000 crore rupees for COVID-19 vaccines.
आने वाले समय में हम अपने देश को निश्चित रूप से कोविड के संकट से सफलतापूर्वक बाहर निकालेंगे। इस बजट के माध्यम से इस भविष्य की नींव रखने की कोशिश की गई है। जहां इस प्रकार की त्रासदी कभी भी भारत में आए, किसी भी बीमारी के माध्यम से आए, किसी भी वायरस के माध्यम से आए, तो हम उसको इस समय के अनुभव का इस्तेमाल करते हुए और बेहतर ढंग से फेस करने के लिए फ्यूचर रेडी हों। यही इस बार के बजट का बहुत बड़ा संदेश है।
On the COVID-19 situation, Dr. Harshvardhan said no new cases have been reported in 188 districts of the country in the last 7 days and in 76 districts in the last 28 days.
Kendriya Vidyalayas across the country have resumed face-to-face teachings for various classes as per the guidelines issued by the Union Home Ministry and state governments. KV started opening from the month of October in a phased manner. According to the data compiled on the 11th of this month, an average of 42% students of Class 9, 65% students of Class 10, 48% students of Class 11 and 67% students of Class 12 are physically attending classes all over the country. These figures are dynamic and trends indicate consistent increase every day. Face-to-face classes for Class 1 to 8 have also been started in some KVs, where state governments are permitted to open schools for junior grades. The SOPs issued by the state and central governments are being followed completely in view of the COVID-19 pandemic. In Bihar, altogether 12,101 healthcare workers took the second dose of COVID-19 vaccine during the past 24 hours. These health workers have taken their first shot on January 16, the day vaccination was launched across the country. So far, 4,95,792 beneficiaries have got the first shot in Bihar. No side effect of the vaccine has been reported from any part of the state. 2,59,670 patients have recovered from the COVID-19 infection in the state so far.
Gujarat government has extended the night curfew imposed in 4 metro cities of Ahmedabad, Surat, Vadhra and Rajkot till the end of this month. The previous notification of night curfew in these 4 cities expired yesterday. State Home Department said the curfew will remain in place from midnight to 6 a.m. from February 16th to 28th. The aim is to bring down the number of coronavirus cases. Meanwhile, the drive to administer the second dose of COVID-19 vaccine to the state health workers began yesterday. Talking to AIR, State Immunization Officer Dr. Nayan Jani said those who received their first dose on 16th of January are being given the second dose from yesterday. Mr. Jani added that 80% vaccination of the healthcare and frontline workers has been completed in the state so far. More from our Ahmedabad correspondent.
Over 5,000 healthcare and frontline workers were vaccinated at 337 centers in the state yesterday. Nearly 7,96,000 beneficiaries have been vaccinated in the state so far, which include more than 4 lakh frontline workers. Meanwhile, 249 fresh cases of COVID-19 were reported in the state in the past 24 hours. However, state's recovery rate has improved further to 97.7%. The state still has 1,708 active cases of COVID-19. Meanwhile, the state government yesterday extended a night curfew in 4 major cities till midnight of 28 February, which include Ahmedabad, Vadhra, Rajkot and Surat. Aparna Khun, AIR News, Ahmedabad.
Odisha has begun the second round of vaccination of healthcare workers from yesterday. More than 10,000 such beneficiaries who had already taken their first vaccine shots were administered the second shots yesterday in 126 session sites across the state. More from our Bhubaneswar correspondent.
Among the healthcare workers, while a total of 10,034 took their second vaccine jab, 666 healthcare workers were also administered their initial vaccine shot. This apart, a total of 4,044 frontline workers were also vaccinated in 46 separate session sites across the state. The state has been using both Covishield and Covaxin to inoculate the beneficiaries against COVID-19. Meanwhile, the COVID-19 active caseload of the state has slid further down to 661 as of now. Girish Chandra Das, AIR News, Bhubaneswar.
In Karnataka, 16,242 healthcare workers and frontline warriors were vaccinated with COVID vaccine yesterday, recording a coverage of 26%. It was planned to inoculate 61,377 healthcare workers and frontline warriors in 538 sessions. The second dosage of vaccine was given to the healthcare workers. From January 15 to February 15, that is till yesterday, 5,12,876 healthcare workers and frontline warriors were inoculated, with the vaccine achieving a coverage of 46%. The state yesterday reported 368 new COVID cases as against 430 discharges after recovery from the pandemic. There were 2 deaths reported yesterday due to the infection. The total active cases as on date in the state are 5,772. The positivity rate stands at 0.87% and the fatality rate at 0.54%. The COVID tests conducted yesterday stood at 42,245 and out of which 40,517 were RT-PCR tests. You are listening to the morning news on All India Radio. A reminder of the headlines before we move on. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to address a webinar on roadmap for effective implementation of Union Budget 2021-22 in the infrastructure sector today. Government makes FASTag mandatory on all national highways. Gujarat government extends night curfew in 4 cities of Ahmedabad, Surat, Vadhra and Rajkot till the end of this month. All degree colleges across Kashmir division reopen after 11 months. Huge attendance recorded. Basant Panchami and Saraswati Puja being celebrated in different parts of the country today. And in cricket, England need 429 more runs to win the second test against India with only 7 wickets in hand. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on Twitter at AIR News Alerts.
Welcome back to the morning news. All degree colleges across Kashmir division reopened yesterday after a gap of almost 11 months. The colleges reopened in the valley amid a staggered attendance at many institutions. These colleges were closed in March last year following the outbreak of COVID-19 pandemic. With the pandemic relatively calming down, Higher Education Department decided to open the institutions with strict adherence to COVID-19 SOPs, especially social distancing and wearing of masks. Colleges across Kashmir witnessed good attendance of both the students and the staff on the first day yesterday. The students donning uniforms expressed excitement over the resumption of physical academic activities. Students were excited to join the offline mode of education after a hiatus of almost 11 months. In our series on Union Budget 2021-22, today we bring you an overview of the announcements relating to Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh. Despite the recession and economic hardship caused by COVID-19, the central government has focused on the overall development of every section and region of the country. In the General Budget 2021-22, the government has given special attention to the Union territories of Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh to boost the holistic development of the regions. While presenting the budget in the Parliament, Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman has reiterated Narendra Modi government's commitment to the welfare of people of the 2 newly carved Union territories.
On the 9th of December 2020, the 15th Finance Commission submitted its final report covering the period 2021 to 2026 to the Rashtrapati Ji. We recognize our commitment to fiscal federalism and propose therefore to adhere to this recommendation. Jammu and Kashmir in the 14th Finance Commission was entitled to get devolution being a state. Now the funds of the UTs of Jammu Kashmir and Ladakh would be provided by the centre.
Our correspondent takes a look at the budgetary provisions made for Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh.
In the budget, the government has allocated 30,757 crore rupees for Jammu and Kashmir. Out of this, 279 crore rupees have been given as a contribution to Union Territory Disaster Response Fund, while 30,478 crore rupees allocated for meeting its resource gap. For Ladakh, 5,958 crore rupees have been allocated in the budget. Out of the total amount, over 84 crore rupees have been proposed for rural development and around 224 crore rupees for power sector. Besides, over 65 crore rupees have been kept for public works, 55 crore rupees for civil aviation and 32 crore rupees for tourism sector. With a view to promote education, the budget has also announced to establish a central university in Leh. Anand Kumar, AIR News, Delhi.
In Uttarakhand, rescue and search operation for the 25 to 35 people trapped inside the tunnel is going on round the clock. So far, 56 bodies have been recovered and around 148 people are still missing in the region. 18 bodies have been recovered in the past 48 hours from Raini and Tapovan area of Chamoli district. 11 bodies have been recovered so far from the tunnel at the Tapovan and 7 from Raini. AIR correspondent covering the calamity at Ground Zero reports that rescue agencies have found 2 bodies in the tunnel today morning.
9 days have passed since the flash flood hit the Rani village and Tapovan power project in Chamoli district. Rescue agencies are working 24/7 in search operations, but the families whose members are trapped inside the tunnel have started losing their hope after a number of bodies have started coming out from the tunnel. AIR News spoke to the bereaved families of some workers and one contractor who hailed from Saharanpur district in Uttar Pradesh. The contractor, along with 4 workers of Saharanpur, went inside the tunnel in his 4-wheeler and trapped in the sudden flash flood. Administration has allowed family members of the workers to remain at the rescue point inside the tunnel, but now, after 9 days, they have started losing hope and said that only God can do any miracle. Still, rescue teams are fighting against all odds to reach to the end of the NTPC tunnel, which is around 180 meters long, and there is a point where the tunnel breaks into 2 parts. So far, rescue teams have reached till 150 meters in the tunnel, and the mucking continued throughout the night also. With Ragvesh Pandey in Dehradun, this is Sushil Chandra Tiwari, AIR News, Rani Village, Tapovan, Chamoli.
Meanwhile, Uttarakhand Irrigation Minister Satpal Maharaj yesterday said that all angles related to the incident of Chamoli glacier burst should be investigated. He said that government will form a department to monitor and study all the glaciers through satellite. Rajya Sabha Chairman M. Venkaiah Naidu has accepted the resignation of Trinamool Congress MP Dinesh Trivedi. On the 12th of this month, Mr. Trivedi had announced his resignation in the upper house. He had said that he is unhappy about the violent episodes witnessed in West Bengal and feels frustrated about not being able to speak out his mind.
The BJP has finalized the names for the upcoming by-election to the Rajya Sabha from Assam and biennial election to the State Legislative Council of Telangana. The party has decided to field Biswajit Daimari from Assam for the by-election to the Rajya Sabha and N. Ramchandra Rao and Gujula Premendar Reddy for biennial election to Telangana State Legislative Council. Paddy procurement for Kharif 2020-21 is continuing smoothly in the procuring states and UTs with purchase of over 639.87 lakh metric tons of paddy. This is an increase of 15.42% against the last year corresponding purchase of 554.35 LMT. Out of the total purchase of 639.87 LMT, Punjab alone has contributed 202.82 LMT, which is 31.69% of the total procurement.
Government has rejected a claim that the Cabinet has approved the land lease policy to speed up the sale of Container Corporation of India, Concor. Press Information Bureau has termed this claim as baseless, saying that no policy of lease and license by the Ministry of Railways has been approved by the Cabinet in respect to the Concor. Foreign Secretary Harsh Vardhan Shringla will pay a 2-day visit to Moscow on the 17th and 18th of February at the invitation of Russian Deputy Foreign Minister Igor Morgulov. The Foreign Secretary will hold the next round of India-Russia Foreign Office consultations with the Deputy Foreign Minister Morgulov, during which the two sides will review the entire gamut of bilateral relations, including the forthcoming high-level exchanges. During the visit, the Foreign Secretary will also meet Russian Deputy Foreign Minister Sergei Rajkot for an exchange of views on topical issues of regional and international importance. He will also deliver a speech on Indo-Russia relations at the prestigious Diplomatic Academy of the Russian Ministry of Foreign Affairs.
International Solar Alliance ISA has announced Dr. Ajay Mathur as its new Director General following his election at the first Special Assembly of ISA members. A coalition of 73 member countries, ISA, was established in 2015 to accelerate the demand for and use of safe, sustainable and affordable solar energy for all. It aims to mobilize over $1 trillion of investment into solar projects by 2030 through focused advocacy, policy and regulatory support, capacity building and by overcoming perceived investment barriers. Home Minister Amit Shah has reviewed preparations for the celebrations of India at 75 with the officials of MHA, Cultural Ministry and the Ministry of Information and Broadcasting. During the meeting yesterday, Mr. Shah also reviewed progress of work for the celebrations marking the 400th Prakash Parab of Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji and 125th Jayanti of Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose. Home Minister Amit Shah has extended his greetings to all the police personnel and their families on the 74th Foundation Day of Delhi Police. In a tweet, Mr. Shah saluted the courage, restraint and determination of the brave soldiers of the Delhi Police who were continuously engaged in maintaining peace and security in the national capital even under adverse circumstances.
Basant Panchami and Saraswati Puja are being celebrated in different parts of the country today. People, especially students, worship Saraswati, the goddess of wisdom and knowledge, on this occasion. In West Bengal, Saraswati Puja is being celebrated with religious fervour and traditional gaiety. In view of the pandemic, this year the participation in puja is less than normal. We have more from our Kolkata correspondent.
On Basanta Panchami, students across ages worship and seek blessings from Saraswati, the goddess of knowledge, aesthetics, music and arts. Little children are introduced to alphabets in a ritual known as Hate Khori in Bengali. But this year, the picture is different due to COVID pandemic situation. In many schools and colleges, new normal is part of the theme of Saraswati Puja. Some educational institutes have arranged live streaming of puja from the campus so that all students can participate. In some schools, students of class 9 to 12 have been divided in small batches, while some schools have allowed only the Students' Council along with teachers and the administration. Food parcels will be handed out instead of having lunch together to maintain COVID protocol. On the other hand, some colleges and universities have decided not to organize the puja this year as the campuses are still closed. Madhuparna Chaudhary, AIR News, Kolkata.
President Ramnath Kovind has greeted all the countrymen on the auspicious occasion of Vasant Panchami and Saraswati Puja. Home Minister Amit Shah, Defence Minister Rajnath Singh and INB Minister Prakash Javadekar have also greeted the nation on this auspicious day.
And in cricket, England were to resume their second innings at the overnight score of 53 for 3 against India in the second test at Chennai today. Dan Lawrence was batting on 19 and Joe Root was on 2 runs when the stumps were drawn on the third day yesterday. Chasing a victory target of 482 runs, the visitors need 429 more runs to win the match. Now let us take a look at the weather update for today. Jammu will have mainly witness clear sky. The minimum temperature in the city was around 10 degrees Celsius, while maximum will be around 23 degrees. In Srinagar, the sky will be mainly clear. Leh will see mainly clear sky. Gilgit will have mainly clear sky. Muzaffarabad will also have mainly clear sky. In Dehradun, mist occurred in the early morning. Chandigarh witnessed fog during morning hours and will have mainly clear sky during the day. National capital Delhi witnessed moderate fog during early morning hours. Mumbai is expected to have mainly clear sky with temperature varying between 26 and 29 degrees Celsius.
And now an overview of today's newspapers. All the late dailies lead with the news of Supreme Court seeking WhatsApp to disclose its user data under its new policy. Hindustan Times headline says, people value privacy more than money. Now, easy access to geospatial data, maps, writes the Tribune, as the government deregulated the sector, giving a massive push to the national goal of self-reliance. ITBP deployment across entire LAC strengthened is a headline in the Asian Age. In an encouraging turn, the Pioneer observes attendance in Kendriya Vidyalayas picking up as 67%, Class 12 and 65% in Class 10 attend schools. Consumers will be able to lodge real-time complaints against telemarketers as the government is setting up a redressal mechanism for pesky calls, reports the Economic Times. Buy e-tickets for all DTC buses in a couple of months, writes the Times of India. In the JNU sedition case, the Indian Express reports Kanhaiya and others to face trial summoned on March 15. And finally, India plans to sustain human presence in space and is coming out with a policy framework and a long-term roadmap, notes the Statesman.
And now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to address a webinar on roadmap for effective implementation of Union Budget 2021-22 in the infrastructure sector today. Government makes FASTag mandatory on all national highways. Gujarat government extends night curfew in 4 cities of Ahmedabad, Surat, Vadhra and Rajkot till the end of this month. All degree colleges across Kashmir division reopen after 11 months. Huge attendance recorded. Basant Panchami and Saraswati Puja being celebrated in different parts of the country today. And in cricket, England need 429 more runs to win second test against India with only 7 wickets in hand. And with that, we end the morning news. Have a nice day.